Ice or heat, which is best for patellofemoral pain syndrome? I'm going to give you some in-depth explanations on why to use heat or why not to use heat, and same for ice, why or why not to use ice. And I'm going to connect it to some medical research, but if you're looking for the quick answer, you want to just hear my recommendation, my guidance that I give to patients, scroll towards the end of this video and you'll see where I give it to you. So why use ice? Well, it's shown in research to take pain levels down a couple of notches on a 0 to 10 scale. There's many research studies done on all different kinds of body parts and different kinds of cold therapies. They may use ice, they may use other things like cold immersion or dunking a body part in ice water. All of these things are known to bring pain levels down a few points on a 0 to 10 scale. It's also relatively easy to access ice for most people. And especially for a knee joint, like when we're talking about patellofemoral pain syndrome, it's a body part that you can easily put in ice or put ice on, unlike a back. It's not as easy. I mean, you could slap ice on your back, but it's not as easy to get there compared to your knee, or even like a hip joint or a shoulder joint. Those are harder to put ice onto. But the knee, it's also not covered as much muscle. So you can theoretically penetrate the cold deeper than you could like a spine, for instance. But why not use ice? I think that's the better question to answer here. And this is going to get contradictory here. Just know that that's where we are in the research, is it's all contradicting itself. And so that's why I'm going to give you my guidance at the end on what you should think about ice. There is research out there that has been done on lab rats, on mice, where they break their poor little hind legs and they see if ice can help them or not. And there's research that was done specifically that showed that edema, which is the medical term for swelling, edema is reduced in lab rats' legs that are broken if you put ice on them. And the reason this happens because there's other research studies done where they show that cell function slows down when you put ice on it, when you put cold on it. Another way to put it is metabolism, which is cell function, slows down. So that means that you're getting less blood flow to the area. The cells are just moving slower. You're kind of making things happen in slow motion. Now, some research studies are just looking at edema or swelling as slowing down, but other research studies are looking at healing times. So like going back to lab rats, there was another study done to see what the healing time frame for a rat's leg was that was broken if they put ice on it versus if they didn't. And what they found is that the healing time was actually lengthened for the rats that did have ice on their legs. And it kind of makes sense, right? If you slow down the cell functions, if you slow down the metabolism, then you're not going to heal as fast. So why put ice on? Hold on a second. There are also studies done on humans that show that ice or cold therapy can improve healing times. To complicate it further, there's studies showing that the ice treatment, the cold therapy, doesn't penetrate deep enough to the injured tissues when putting it on a human. Because theoretically, you could get frostbite or ice burn, is another way to put it, if you have too cold of a treatment on your skin. So there's an argument showing that maybe it's a placebo effect, maybe it's in our heads, it's a change in the sensation that we're getting to our body that's actually producing the reduction in pain, although the injury itself is not directly affected by the cold treatment. It's our perception of the injury, because now we're feeling cold instead of feeling pain, which reduces the sensation overall of pain temporarily. Ice doesn't really fix the problem though, it just helps us to distract ourselves from the pain. So the bottom line, when using ice, it's use it if it makes you feel better. Now let's talk about heat. Why use heat? Well, it kind of does the opposite of ice. It increases metabolism to the area. It speeds up cell function, and theoretically it's supposed to bring more blood flow to the area, which kind of makes sense because if you get warm enough, you start to sweat. And in order to sweat, you need more blood to enter your skin where your sweat glands are so that your sweat glands can create sweat. So that's why you feel hot and sweaty whenever you put on something warm in a certain part of your body. And like with the ice studies, People that have heat therapy on them generally take their pain down a few notches on a scale of 0 to 10 when using heat treatments. So why not use heat? Well, there's an argument that adding heat to the body can increase blood flow to the area, which theoretically can increase edema or swelling. And that swelling might put pressure on other body parts in the area. Especially of concern is the nerves, because if you put pressure on nerves for too long, it can cause some serious long-term problems. But I feel that this is on a case-by-case situation, and it's not always cut and dry on the decision whether or not to use heat or ice based on the edema part. You've got to kind of figure out what works for you, which leads me to my recommendation. When I have somebody here in my office and they're asking me for my recommendation on whether or not to use ice or heat, I have 6 recommendations for them. Number 1 is try them both. There's no harm in trying one or the other. And if you don't like one, you know which one you don't like. You can know which one you do like. You've crossed one off the list. Now you know that you're an ice person or you're a heat person. Number 2 is be okay with switching. You might be an ice person for your knee. You might be a heat person for your back, or vice versa. There isn't a clear-cut heat must go on your back and the knee must use cold. There's no rule like that. It really depends on you and what you feel helps you avoid pain medication. That leads me into number 3 is you need to see what helps you most. You need to determine that for yourself. And if you get a recommendation from a healthcare provider that you need to be using heat or ice, you can try following it, but I would be okay with changing it because there's no hard research that is consistent that we know that it's proven that heat always works for this situation and ice always works for that situation. Number 4 is contrasting the two might be an option. This is where you alternate heat and ice, or you start with ice and then go heat, and you go back and forth every 15 minutes or so for 2 hours. That might be something that works for you, is using both because you feel that both do help you. Number 5 is neither might work for you. Be okay with that. You might try heat and ice. You might even try contrasting the two and find that doesn't really do much for you, or this is what pertains to me in my situation, the hassle of dealing with heat and ice, getting everything together, dealing with ice cubes that melt on me, getting a hot pack and having to go through the whole process is more work than it's worth for the injuries that I've been through. And I'd rather just tolerate a little bit of pain and I can deal with it without taking pain medications. So I don't really choose to use either heat or ice. And the 6th recommendation or guideline that I give people is don't rely on ice or heat to fix this problem for the long term. If you're dealing with knee pain from patellofemoral pain syndrome, you have got to fix the root problem by addressing the muscle imbalance that's causing there to be too much pressure on your kneecap against the thigh bone, and ice and heat isn't going to fix it. You need to just see ice or heat as a temporary pain relief solution, just like taking pain medication, and it's only going to give you relief for a short time so that you might be able to sleep better or just sit comfortably better and get you into a position where you can do exercises to correct the root problem without being in as much pain. That's the purpose of ice and heat. It's simply an alternative without the side effects to using pain medication. If you're looking for a way to fix patellofemoral pain syndrome for the long term, then go down into the description below and check out some links that we've got there. There's 2. One in particular is the Patellofemoral Pain Syndrome Help playlist. I've got all our patellofemoral pain syndrome videos in a playlist that you can find down in the description below. There's a link that'll take you straight to the playlist. And then I've also got our whole treatment approach that fixes patellofemoral pain syndrome. It fixes the root problem so that you don't have to deal with it for the long term. I've got over 30 videos in this program. It's on demand. You can access it anytime. There's a link to it down in the description below. It's called the Patella Pain Recovery Program. This is a program that I've been requested over the years so many times to create. I finally recorded myself in over 30 videos guiding you step by step exhaustively through all the steps to correct patellofemoral pain syndrome and other kneecap related problems. It's all in the Patella Pain Recovery Program. Go check that out down below. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you thought it was good for you, give it a thumbs up, please. It helps us get it out to more people. And if you can share it with people that you know, please do so. If there's somebody that needs to hear this, copy the link, hit the share button somewhere down below, email it, text it, send it to social media to them so that they might see this. And please subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of the videos that we post each and every week. Please drop a comment as well. We love to answer your questions. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.